So I thought I'd try something a little more fun today. So in addition to the market update videos that I do each month for East Gwillimbury, Aurora, Newmarket, and Stouffville, I wanted to take a look at an entire GTA snapshot. So this is Toronto, York region, Durham region. It's going to go, some parts of Simcoe. So everything that is in the purview of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. I wanted to bring to you in just an overall numbers because I speak to people every day. There's so much doom and gloom in the market about the market's way off. Everything's down, everything's and of course we're coming into winter, so I think there's a natural there's a natural tendency to for things to slow down as we come into the winter, as we're into November now. Colder weather's coming, so everything tends to tighten up a little bit. So I just wanted to sort of update you with the numbers on where we're at in the GTA. So I kept it pretty simple. So January 2022 to October 31st, 2022, and I'm going to compare that with January 2023 with to October 31st, 2023. So we're comparing apples to apples. So the number of sales in the GTA across all home types last year for the same time frame as we're in right now was 67,443 compared to 58,361 this year. So for those of you like myself who aren't necessarily quick on the math, that is a 14% difference in the amount of total sales. And this is everything. This is condos, semi-detached, townhouses, detached, link homes, absolutely everything. So we're 14% down from last year, so about 9,000 units, right? And I did that calculation ahead of time. I'm certainly not a math whiz by any stretch. But, if you look at the entire year last year from January 2022 to October 31st, 2022, there was 75,000 total units sold. So could we get there this year? Might we be a little bit down? Well, I did a calculation of, we're 10 months in right now at 58,000, so 5,800 units a month. So if we carried on that same trend for the next 2 months, for November, December, it will put us about 70,000. So last year, 75,000 for the total year, right to December 31st. If we stayed the same sort of buying and selling this year, it could put us at, high 60s in the 70,000. So not really that far off, actually. And this is where the numbers are actually a little surprising. It's people often think that it is realtors that control the market. I hear this all the time. It is the media that controls the market. I'm not talking about affordability. I'm not talking about, if this is not the right market for you. Not talking about that at all. What I'm just showing you here is the data, and the data doesn't lie. So, I mean, we are down from last year in terms of total sales, but by the end of the year, could we, get in the realm of very, very close to where we were last year? Yeah, I think the likelihood is definitely there. Average sale price, again, across all home types is $1,203,000. Currently trending $1,132,000. So definitely down. There's no question. But you have to remember, we're dealing with average sale price across the entire GTA. So there are some markets where we're up year over year. Some markets we're down. So it just depends. This is the average. So if you look at the overall average, and these are typically the stats that the media is looking at. So yes, we're down year over year if we're looking at it. But there are certain micro markets where it's a little bit hotter. And so if you looked at a town like I don't have anything off the top of my head, but you could look at York region, and in York region you could look at Stouffville or Aurora, and they might be up year over year, but the overall whole is down, right? And we certainly know that Toronto, being such a big market out of that, we know that Toronto is suffering a little bit right now. Sales to new listings ratio. So this tells us, out of the homes coming on the market each month, what's the percentage that are selling? So the average during that time period last year to October 31st, 2022 was 48%, meaning 48% of the homes that came on the market sold. This year we're at 46%. So, we're still seeing roughly the same numbers as last year, down slightly, couple percent, but we're still seeing that same sort of trend. So, at 46%, it is an indicator of a buyer's market where there's more supply than there is demand. Sale price to list price ratio, home selling last year, 106% of asking on average. This year, 101. Last year, I would say we saw more of a propensity towards sellers and listings being underpriced. And the house, I always use this example, a house that's priced at $799, but we all know it's going to sell for $1 million or $1.1 million. In fact, I even saw one yesterday. A client called me about it, listed in Vaughan. It's $999, and they had it listed last month. That it didn't sell, and they had it listed for $2.2 million. So, I mean, there's still some crazy stuff going on, but I would say right now, predominantly what we're seeing is houses being priced accurately to the market. But at 101%, that would tell me that we're still seeing multiple offers, and we're still seeing homes being underpriced to the market, and going into, cultivating that multiple offer and that bidding process. Days on market to get a home sold, 14 days last year, 18 this year. So really, we're not that far off of where we were last year, in my opinion. And, could we, in this, sprint to the end, could we even that out a little bit? Absolutely. I think we could be very, very close to next year's numbers. So, again, this isn't, I never try to coerce or, persuade anybody. I'm just here to offer up the data as it's presented. If you have any questions about this, and if you'd like to talk more about how these numbers would drill down into your specific house, area, and home type, feel free to reach out to me.